What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist here with the one, the only,
Gersh1.
and today we're back at it to answer more questions and do more questions in this thing that we like to call For the Greater.
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put a question in front of your question because we get to those questions first. Now, if you guys want a question guaranteed answer, you can give us a super thanks. If you do, we'll answer it in the next video, and it helps out the channel. So thank you ahead of time. This question comes from
The Templar 33. His question is, are there squats that are susceptible to chaos? Could we have a chaos dwarf-like situation with Vastor being involved? So the squats literally just made their triumphant return to the 40K universe very, very recently. And because of that, we haven't seen any other different types of squats besides the few models that we currently have. They do talk about some different types of clone skins that they can don. And clone skins are basically a type of technology that they put on themselves to better adapt to their environment. So like if they're in a world where everything's dense, maybe they have more like rocky, tougher skin, or if they're in an underwater world, then they have like gills and webbed feet and stuff like that. But when it comes to chaos, we haven't seen anything like that just yet.
That doesn't mean that you can't kit bash your own chaos Leagues of Voltan, just because you got to remember that the Leagues of Voltan back in the day were just an abhuman race, and they kind of fractured after their whole thing. So squats that are found in like the early lore are considered squats because they're not part of the entirety of like Leagues of Voltan. The Leagues of Voltan, you can think of them as like the actual core of their race, and then the squats are kind of the ones that humanity encountered along the way, kind of thing.
Yeah, so the Voltan we see nowadays, they're literally clones of clones of clones from the squats that left Earth.
Yeah, but if you go to, I think it's Necromunda or Kill Team, they have a squat model. That squat model is a squat,
right? Not
a League of Voltan member. Yeah. So within those can turn to chaos, maybe. Because that's how it was back in Rogue Trader era.
Right.
So then just kit bash.
Yeah. And then you mentioned Vastor, and I could easily see that becoming a thing, because Vastor is currently the demigod of innovation and technology. And what do we know about the squats, the Voltan? They're super surrounding themselves around technology. They have the orbs, the STC orbs, that basically are a collection of ancient technology, and they use that to kind of dictate how they live their life and where they attack, what they do. So their whole lives are surrounded against these vols, these STC orbs.
Yeah, basically they are tinkers that thinkers. So it fits within
right.
Vastor.
And we've seen Vastor corrupt AI before, actually giving it sentience. So who's to say Vastor doesn't encounter one of these vols, basically corrupts it, and then we have a whole corruption of the Leagues of Voltan.
Yeah, you can kit bash something along the lines of like Zoran from Power Rangers.
Exactly.
And just have him be like an evil villain. So
like he always was.
Was he? I thought he was just a man.
He was.
And one of them, like the tube got destroyed, right?
Yeah, and he was just like a dude chilling in there.
Dying. Next question comes from Juan Jose Mendivil. How do you escape a planet? I doubt it's as simple as taking an airplane. It's that simple. So think about this. Like when we start traveling from here to like Mars or to different planets, you need spaceports, and they're going to be just like airports. However, with an airport, you need an airstrip. With space travel, you won't need that. I think, what is it, Elon Musk and the rocket that like lands itself? Those types of airports or spaceports are going to exist. Same thing in 40K, but just to a whole new level. Like Star Wars, kind of.
Yeah, so depending on the planet, too, it could be easier for the populace to make it out of there, or a lot difficult and harder if it's like a agri-world or something like that.
But just like watch all of Star Wars, especially the ones on Disney Plus right now.
Yeah, they make it seem like anybody can just get on a ship and just zoom it out of there.
Yeah, like in, which one's the one with Diego Luna?
Andor.
In Andor, he escapes from like multiple planets on a ship. It's the same thing. Depending on like the planet, like there's different ways of escaping.
Yeah. And it's not like in our current time, where it's like you have to get on a ship and go through all these G-forces. Nah, to them it's like driving a car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do they know how it works? Of course not, but it happens. Next question.
Mr. Brian Bussey, what do you guys think of the new Lionel Johnson announcement/model?
That's big news.
Big news. Yeah, I like it. I think it looks better than Gilliman. The intricacies in his armor, the 4 different head options, his weapons, everything about this model is just badass.
And I think because Gilliman came out first before like the Trader Primarchs did, or alongside like Mortarion and Magnus, a little bit after, right?
I believe so. Yeah, because they were already out, and then he came out to fight them.
Yeah. And I think like with Gilliman, you got screwed. You had 2 head options, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
And the proportions were way off. Whereas with Lionel Johnson, proportions are right. The pose is really cool. You have the 2 little like alien things carrying his weapons.
The little Jawas, the Watchers in the dark.
Yeah. So that's really awesome. And then he obviously looks like the dude from Game of Thrones. What's his name? Tywin. Yeah. So I love the model.
It's really awesome that we also see him donning the Emperor's shield, which kind of leads me to believe that every time we see a Loyalist Primarch, he's going to have some type of armor, weapon, war gear that the Emperor had.
Now let's talk a little bit about the trailer that we got for 10th edition. Gilliman is kneeling in front of Baal, specifically where Sanguinius is. Do you think Sanguinius is coming back for 10th edition?
I don't think so. I think it's far too early. I feel like it'll be like a Primarch in addition, even though we kind of skipped one in 9th.
Because I feel like with the Lion, his return is cool, but how many Dark Angel players do you know?
Not a lot.
Yeah. So like it's kind of like cool. And that's the thing that sucks about Loyalist Primarchs coming back. Not that many people play Raven Guard. Not that many people play Iron Hand. Well, I mean, you can't bring back Ferrous Menace,
he's
but
gone.
Not that many, like people play Iron or Imperial Fist, but not to the extent of like I want to buy Rogodorn. So I think GW has to be strategic in the way they place their Primarchs for the Loyalists. So we'll see.
Yeah, and it's crazy how they're almost already done with the 4 Trader Primarchs, or at least the 4 ones that have a patron god, because all they need is Fulgrim. And it's interesting because for the longest time, the one faction of Chaos that always gets forgotten is Slaanesh. So maybe that's going to change. Maybe we'll finally get some Slaanesh Noise Marines, some Slaanesh models, some Slaanesh lore, so we can get Fulgrim.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
We'll see. Next question.
This one is by Tease Family Kent. In a war between the Imperium of Man, the God Emperor of Dune, the Emperor of Star Wars, and the Emperor of the Daleks, who would win?
Me. I actually don't know too much about the Emperor of Dune, but from my understanding, it's a title, not an actual dude.
Well, there's a dude, isn't there?
Well, there's the dude that turns into like
he's like a bug or a slug,
right, because
or something.
he takes like the larva of the thing. But I don't think he like in the movie version of Dune. From what I understand, he's not there. So I'm not sure.
Yeah,
he's not a psyker either.
And then you have Palpatine, which he's strong in his universe, but at the same time, he's not like 40K level.
Because midichlorians and the Force doesn't attack back. The warp does. And the Emperor understands that. So
yeah,
it's almost like going to the gym every single day and working out compared to going to the gym every single day and the weights are attacking you at the same time. Obviously, the attacking weights are going to create a more tougher, stronger person.
Yeah.
So,
and then the Daleks, I don't even know what that's from.
Yeah, I don't even know. So, the Emperor from 40K.
40K trumps.
Next question comes from J-Day. Are there permanent members of the Death Watch?
When it comes to the Death Watch, I mean, it's supposed to be Space Marines from every chapter going there to serve, but I think just like the higher, like not the, I would say inner circle, but that's like Dark Angels, but like the higher organization, military force of them kind of stay the same. Because you do have that one, I don't even know what they're called.
Watch captains?
Is it Watch Captain? Yeah. Who has his own model. He almost looks like a custodian, but like Space Marine, because he has that type of staff spear weapon. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's almost like the Night's Watch, right, from Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
where once you don that, like you're gonna stay there for a while. Really, it's forever until you die.
Pretty much, yeah. And not just that, but we've seen that the Death Watch has been infiltrated time and time again with members of the Alpha Legion. So who's to say that the upper, members of them aren't just already chaos corrupted, telling them what to do, where to go, all for their nefarious purposes? Because again, it's the Alpha Legion, so we don't know if they're doing it for the good of the Imperium or for the detriment of the Imperium.
They could be double crossing.
Yeah, Alpha Legion, XX Legion, Double Cross Legion.
Add another X and Bridget B shows up.
Not Vin Diesel?
No.
Triple X?
Oh, yeah. I like to think of Vin Diesel as either for the family or he's blind, but a really good fighter from Chronicles of Riddick.
Oh, yeah. I always forget about Riddick.
The first episode, or the first movie, is actually on Netflix, I think. It's called like Dark something. It's not Chronicles of Riddick.
It's not.
Next question comes from World DD777. Do you know what nationality are some characters in 40K born on Earth? So the Emperor is supposedly born like near Europe.
Yeah, Anatolia.
Which is equivalent to, from my understanding, isn't it just the UK?
Yeah, somewhere in that general area.
Or, I might be wrong. The Middle East? I don't know.
But then, because you also have conflicting events of like, well, he was also Alexander the Great, but he was also Jesus, and he was also notable characters. But the thing is, you got to remember, is he can just change his appearance at will.
It's true.
So he can be everything, everywhere, all at once.
Exactly, yeah. And then when it comes to the Primarchs, they were scattered, so no. Most of them...
They were all born under the Himalayan mountains, technically, because that's where like the gene factories were.
So they're Asian. And yeah, that's pretty much it, right? There's no like Malkador. We don't know his origin story.
Yeah, and not just that, but like the Terra from 40K is very different than the Earth from now. Mm-hmm. So land masses change, things get renamed.
There's no more oceans.
Yeah. But for the most part, like even we've seen through like the unification wars and stuff like that, they did have like I think it was called like what was it? The something of Africa, but it was like Africa with a K. And then you still had like the trans-oriental, like there's still pieces of what we know from our time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the questions, though, for today. If you guys have more questions for us, please comment down below. Thank you so much for hanging out with us and talking about 40K. If you guys have more questions, we'll see you tomorrow, maybe.
Yeah, this has been The Sound Alchemist.
Gershwan.
And we are out.
Oh, I did the